everyone, this is your English faculty Divya Chandwani and I welcome all the students in the most awaited session where I'm going to tell you the tips and tricks to improve your reading comprehension part. So yes, most of you wanted to watch this video where we will tell you the tips and tricks to improve your comprehension part and how you can solve your questions very quickly. So yes, if you are one of those students who are appearing for their 10th board exams, so yes, this video is definitely for all of you, because in today's video I am going to solve a reading comprehension with all of you, where I'm going to tell you the most important tips and tricks. With the help of them you can solve your comprehension part like this. Okay, so now let's quickly start with the passage. So first I'll read a passage in front of you and then we will solve the questions, and I'll tell you the tips and tricks in between, how you can solve these questions. Okay, so yes, let's get started. So it says that when you are on the beach, you are stepping on ancient mountains, skeletons of marine animals, and even tiny diamonds. Sand provides a mineral treasure trove, a record of geology's earth-changing process. So we will mark the important points. Sand is very important. When we are children, we play with it, and as adults, we relax on it. So it is something we complain about when it gets in our food, and we praise when it's molded into castles. But we don't often look at it. If we did, we would discover an account of geological past and a history of marine life that goes back thousands and in some cases millions of years. Okay, sand covers not just the seashores, but it also covers ocean beds, deserts and mountains. It is one of the most common substances on earth, and it is a major element in man-made items too. So now, which are the man-made items which are made with sand? So first is concrete, as it is largely made up of sand, and the second is glass. What exactly is sand? It is larger than fine dust and it is smaller than the shingle. So now, depending on its age and origin, a particular sand can consist of tiny pebbles or porous granules. Its grain may have the shape of stars or spirals. Their edges jagged or smooth. They have come from the erosion of rocks, okay, or from the skeletons of marine organisms which accumulate on the bottom of the oceans, or even from volcanic eruptions. Color is another clue to sand's origins. Okay, so what is the another clue? That is color. If it is dazzling white, its grains may be derived from nearby coral outcrops, from crystalline quartz rocks, or from gypsum. Okay, so here we are talking about white sand. We have highlighted that part. On Pacific Islands, jet black sands form from volcanic minerals. Okay, so if we talk about white sand, it is derived basically from quartz rocks or from gypsum. If you talk about jet black sands, it is coming from the volcanic minerals. Okay, so I hope that's clear to everyone. Okay, now usually the older the granules, the finer they are and the smoother the edges are. Okay, so when we talk about them, yes, let's highlight it. The finer they are, the smoother the edges are. If the sand is old, the granules will be very fine. The fine white beaches, for instance, are recycled from sandstone several 100 million years old. Perhaps they will be they'll be stone once more in another few 100 million. Sand is an irreplaceable industrial ingredient whose uses are legion, but it has one vital function, that is, you might never even notice. Sand cushions our land from the sea's impact, and geologists they say that often it does a better job of protecting our shores than the most advanced coastal technology. Even most advanced coastal technology cannot protect the way sand protects us. So it does a very good job. So this was the passage. Now let's move towards the questions. So what is the most important thing? Read the passage very, very carefully. Step number 2, try to mark the points which you find very, very important. So, mark the points while reading it, okay, from where it originated, how white sand is made, how black sand is made, what are the two man-made items which we get from it. One was concrete, one was glass. So all these important points we have already highlighted. That was step 2. Now step 3, let's read the questions carefully. On the basis of your understanding of the passage, answer any 5 questions out of 6. So that means we have to attempt only 5 questions out of the 6 questions given. So first is, how is sand a treasure trove? So before moving to the second question, let's read this very carefully. How is sand a treasure trove? So now for this you have to go back to the passage, and I remember it was somehow around it was on the first paragraph. So let's go back and read it once again. When you are on the beach, you are stepping on ancient mountains, skeletons of marine animals, even tiny diamonds. Sand provides a mineral treasure trove. So yes, this is the first reason. As you can see, it is rich in minerals. So yes, that is the reason. So first reason, is that it provides us mineral. So you can write down sand is a treasure trove because it provides us mineral. And second is, it is basically a record of geology's earth changing process. So 2 reasons I have already highlighted. So it is a treasure trove because it provides us minerals, and it is a record of geology's earth changing process. Very easy. We easily solved question number 1 because we read the passage very, very carefully. Next question, how is sand both a pain and a pleasure? Okay, how sand can be pain and pleasure both? Okay, so for that we have to again go back to the passage. Sand, as children we play on it. So when we relax on it or we play on it, of course it will give us pleasure. So that would be the answer for the pleasure part. It is something we complain about when it gets in our food. So now when it gets in our food, of course it will be something which will be painful. So we will highlight it like this, and as children we play with it, and as adults we relax on it. So yes, this is the part for pain, this is the part for pleasure. So yes, sand is sand gives us pain and pleasure both. When it comes in our food, when it gets in our food, it is something painful, but when we play with it, when we play on it and when we relax on it, it is something which gives us pleasure. So this is how we solve question number 2. Very, very easy. Just read the passage carefully, highlight all the important points, then go to the questions, read the question once, try to find the answer. If you are not able to find the answer, go back to the question again, try to read it and understand it properly, and then please do come back to the passage. Next is, name 2 man-made materials that contain sand. Now you already know the answer to this because while we were reading the passage, we have already highlighted it. That is, it is a major element in man-made items too. The first item was concrete and the other item was glass, which we have already highlighted. So the 2 man-made items are concrete and glass. Okay. So yes, I hope that's clear. Next question is, list the different shapes of sand. So now we have to talk about the shapes of sand. So let's go back to the passage and let's see where the author has mentioned about the shapes of sand. Okay. So let's read 4th passage again. It is larger than fine dust and smaller than shingle depending on its age and origin. A particular sand consists of tiny pebbles or porous granules. Its grain may have shape of stars. So now we are talking about different types of, the shapes of stars or spirals, their edges jagged or smooth. Okay. Let's see the question once again. List the different shapes of sand. Yes, we have to talk about the shapes of sand only, and we are absolutely correct. So the different shapes of sand are this. First is, we can find it in the shape of stars or spirals, and even their edges are jagged or smooth. So this is your answer to question number 4, and we are easily able to find it because we have already marked the important points. So now let's move to question number 5. Okay. What is the origin of white sand? So while we were reading the passage, I told you the origin of white sand and black sand both. So we have already highlighted it. So let's go back, okay, and let's find it. If it is dazzling white, its grains may be derived from nearby coral outcrops, okay. So from here we'll start, from crystalline quartz rocks or from gypsum. So if you are talking about dazzling white, it is derived from this. So coral outcrops, from crystalline quartz rocks or from gypsum. But if they asked about black sand, so we get it from volcanic minerals, but that's not the question. So we were supposed to solve only 5 questions, but let's solve the 6th one also. But in the passage, in the exam, you only have to answer 5 out of 6 if it's mentioned in the direction. In what ways are older granules different from the recent granules? So let's go back and let's see the difference between older ones and the recent ones. So the older the granules, the finer they are and the smoother the edges are. The fine white beaches, for instance, are recycled from sandstone several hundred million years old. Perhaps they will be stoned once more in another few hundred million. So basically you have to write this part: the older the granule, the finer they are and the smoother the edges are, okay, this part, okay. Now there were 2 things that we have to mention, so let's go back. In what ways are the older granules different from the recent one? Yes, so that is the difference, that the older the granules, the finer they are and the smoother they are, okay. Sand is an irreplaceable industrial ingredient whose uses are legion, but it has one vital function that you might never even notice, that sand cushions our land from the, yes, so we don't have any question from the 7th passage, but otherwise apart from that we almost covered the entire passage, because there were answer from, we got the answer from paragraph 1, then we got it from 2 and we got it from 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So yes, that was all about the first passage that we have completed. So I know you know the important tips and tricks now, that it's very important to read the passage very carefully, mark the important points, then go to the questions, read those questions carefully. Just start with question number 1. Try to find that answer in the passage. If you are not able to find that answer, try to read that paragraph once again, and if there is any word which you find difficult, you can highlight that word. And yes, we should know the meanings of all these words, but in case students, if you don't know the meaning, please try to read that line at least thrice or maybe thrice, okay. So what will happen when you read a line again and again, even if you don't know the meaning of a particular word, at least you will have an idea about that line, that what they are trying to say. So when you have a rough idea about what the author is trying to say, you will be able to find that answer in the passage itself, okay. So I wish all the students good luck, and if you have any doubt, please feel free to reach out to us in the comment section, and if you like the video, then please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. But before that, I would really like to wish you all the best, and do not forget to ask your doubts if you have any. So bye bye everyone, good luck.